From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Beres here. It is Wednesday, a good show. Get ready to give us a call because many of you, I think, will be interested in this because we're going to talk to you about antiques, valuables, knickknacks, things perhaps in your house that you think have more than just the sentimental value. And sentimental value is most important, isn't it? But sometimes you wonder, that item that was passed down from my great-grandmother, I wonder what that's really worth. I wonder if it's genuine or something along those lines. Well, obviously there's a whole industry that's gotten into this, you know, the antique road shows and appraisals and all of that. Well, this morning we have, I think, one of the very best appraisers in the entire area, maybe even in the country. I'm just going to say that, okay? When you have Connie Sue Davenport on, it's just a neat thing. She's an antique appraiser. She knows her stuff, and we can take your phone calls, 73775. It's nice to have you on.
Thanks, Nick.
And we do have the phone number up.
We did.
It's going to open up 615-737-7587. If you're watching and you call us, it would be great if you can give us a description of what you want her to discuss or evaluate for you. That's tricky for her, I know, and I'll let you talk on that in a moment. But you can also send us photographs at plus@newschannel5.com, and we'll put up the photo. And if she gets to see it, that can help her maybe get an assessment, does it not?
Oh, yeah.
You like to see it, and
Sure.
we want to throw it up so other people can see it as well. But Connie, it's been a while since you've been on, and I'm just curious. I mean, it's such a huge realm out there of antiques. And what's hot right now? What's hot right now?
Mid-century.
Mid-century, all right. What does that mean?
60s, 1960s.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, you know, the orange and avocado and amber and red, those colors that our mothers had during the 60s.
Okay. What kind of items?
You know, designer-looking pieces, clean lines. Not real. Country is out.
Country's out right now.
Yeah.
Clean lines. And are we talking about like everything from furniture to
vases, to lamps,
to rugs, vases, rugs,
pillows,
jewelry.
Everything. Well, we like our jewelry a little flashier.
A little more flashy.
Yes.
The jewelry. And so let's give folks a primer real quickly too. Many people do know, she was just telling me how often she is recognized, and you're very humble about it because people come up to you and they're like, you don't realize how many people follow this, or maybe you do, but it's a big deal.
I don't want to know that.
Well, it's a big deal. And so if you want to call in, but talk about what it is that you do and what and if you have a specialty too.
Well, you know, what your mama and your grandmother had. That's my specialty. Going into a house and working with 1 to 3 generations of usually women or heirs, people, trying to deal with inheritances, trying to downsize their mother's home of 50 years so that they can manage assisted living, or you know, a lot of times we're trying to squeeze money out of the stuff to pay for another month.
So aside from coming on here or people coming to you and asking you to appraise an individual item, a lot of what you do is where you are hired to go into some of these estates.
Yes.
And with folks and walk around and look and give them an assessment of what the value is, what some of the items are they have. And
what their options for dealing with it are.
Okay.
So the first question is, what is it worth? And the second is, how can I sell this?
All right. You know, when I watch some of these programs and I see an appraisal coming, and I always say this to my son, they'll say, well, this thing is worth such and such. And I always look at my son and say, look, she's probably right. It's rare. It's something that's worth money. But I go, what it's worth is only what someone's willing to pay you. And every once in a while, I'll see an item and she'll say, well, that's worth, not you, but someone on TV that I've seen, oh, that's worth $3,000. And I just go, good luck. You find someone paying $3,000 for that ratty old book. And I don't doubt that it was something, you know, value, but I mean, how do you know, when you watch those shows, do you sometimes go,
show me the money?
Show me, that's what I want to know. Show me the money.
Well, I mean, that's TV, and it really sells well if we have flashy, high-dollar pieces to show off on TV. So, you know, the first thing I look at in assessing how they're going to sell this, a family, is their condition. Yeah. You know, oftentimes I'm welcomed by someone in a wheelchair and on oxygen, and so their options are fairly limited to who they can call on the phone and talk into coming there. But if you've got 3 generations, a millennial and then their child, then we got some tech power. And we can get some stuff done here.
Right. Okay. So that's very important.
It is.
I wanted to say, by the way, we're getting some pictures in now, and if you do send the pictures, and we'll get them up maybe, you know, in our second segment. Send the photo, and if you can, include with it a little bit of just a sentence or two on what it is we're necessarily looking at, if we can. I know we've got one from Craig and some other people, and they can call in, but send it to us also at plus@newschannel5.com. And we'll get to that. Again, the 737-7587 is the number if you want to jump in and call. Do you find more often than not, I mean, people come in and they have grand expectations and you have to let them down gently, you know, or, everyone thinks what they're bringing to you is this has got to be worth something.
The one thing that they're most proud of oftentimes is not the money that I find in their house, because they are still measuring their value by the 70s and 80s when they bought, and it was very high. And so they may have worked hard to find finally this one piece they wanted and are very proud of it. But sometimes, you know, things have turned over. There's a different couple of generations buying that are not us and that are not our moms, and they're buying differently. And they've grown up with people telling them constantly, this is fine, take care of this is your college education, this is worth a lot of money, and then oftentimes don't define a lot of money.
Right. What is a lot of money? And then, again, who's going to pay it? If you can find an actual buyer for something like that. The other part of this, as the antiquing business over the last few decades has just exploded and become a very significant, lucrative field, you know that counterfeits or remakes are out there, correct? And some of them are very, very well done. Now, you have a pretty keen eye for this. I mean, part of it, you've told me, when you have something brought to you, you want to try to look and know whether or not it's genuine, or rather, an original.
Yeah, you know, all appraisers read constantly about what's being reproduced and what are the nuances of the reproduction that can differentiate that from the original. But I also look at circumstances. Where did you get this? Oh, I got this at a flea market in, what did you pay? And, you know, many of those questions.
Those are clues. A lot of what you do is detective work.
It is, it is.
And certainly the Internet's made your life a lot easier.
Oh my gosh.
You and I can both remember before computers.
We used to have to go around town and poke through antique shops.
Those were the days, huh?
Well, I still do that, but I mean, I can see a list of values for one item on the Internet. You know, within 10 minutes oftentimes.
And now when you go out, and I know you go on your forays looking for items, can you give me an example of one maybe trip you've made, wherever it may have been, maybe out in a very remote area where you've gone into a shop and you've discovered for you a gold mine that was a hidden gem, not just the item, but that you've walked into a place and maybe the folks there, for them it's normal stuff, but what you found and you know on the general market is going to be, not that you're taking them for anything, you're paying them what they're asking, but you know what you found there is just incredible, and when you take it with you back to us here in the city, it's going to be. Have you come across things like that?
You know, I used to when I was buying and
Not as
selling.
much. Those things are disappearing now, aren't they? Or
you know, everybody can get on the Internet. With
but going on foot and hustling out there to maybe where an elderly couple has a little craft store or something like that, and you go in and all of a sudden you discover, wow, they've got some very nice pieces for sale here. Or, I don't know. Does that ever happen anymore?
It just doesn't happen as much to me. But I'm not looking for that reason.
Yeah, okay.
You know, we shop with emotion. The last thing I bought was a little suitcase that reminded me of my dad in the 60s. And it was really intact and perfect and had the line. I almost brought it because I thought we'd have pictures.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's all right. We'll get a few, hopefully.
But I think a lot of us buy with emotion more than trying to stick it to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, and I don't mean ever stick it, but if you pay them what the value is worth, and then you have it and you can do something more with it, they're happy with what they got, and if you recognize the value elsewhere.
How many more venues there are, too.
I know.
There's a consignment shop, you know, within 20 miles of anywhere you are, and they're well stocked because people are just shoveling things into them to lessen the load at their houses. So it's a buyer's market right now.
Okay, I want to talk more about that, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to get some photos together, and we'll throw some up for you and see if you can give us some assessments. We're going to open up the phone lines now. Like I said, this gets busy as the show goes on, but if you want to call and describe and talk to her about something in your house, be it an instrument, a piece of artwork, some kind of glassware, or something along those lines, now's your chance to call. A lot of people pay her to talk to her. I get to hang, and you're just doing it for free, and I love it. Well, you're giving us your time, which I appreciate. Let's take a break. We'll be back with your calls and some of these photographs, and you can send us photos with a little synopsis of what it is you want evaluated here at plus@newschannel5.com. We'll be right back.